Welcome to This Week in My Garden. This week's video is going to seem a little disjointed. There's a lot happening in the garden this week. I did some projects this week in the garden, and I made a lot of videos to show it, and then when I started trying to put it all together, it was like a 30-minute video, and so I decided that was too much. So I've tried to shorten it down and just give you a concise picture of what's happening in my garden. Like I said, it may seem a little disjointed this week. All right, let's get to it. Well, I harvested what I had for my onions. Wasn't exactly what I was hoping for, but I ended up with about a dozen pearl onions out of the 100 onions that I planted. So not exactly what I was hoping for, but we're going to consider this a win. And we'll also consider the onion project done for this year, and we'll try again next year. Gonna have to pull these two pickling cucumbers. They're getting overripe here, so I'm gonna come in here and do a little snippy. There's my first pickling cucumber for the year. Did a little harvesting on the peppers as well. We got two jalapenos, which are jalapenos with no heat, and then we also got these 4 nice bell peppers, and I'm real happy with production of my bell peppers this year. They're doing a lot better than they did last year. Over here on the corner we have this one banana pepper, and I'm looking forward to getting a lot of banana peppers. We ended up with 4 pickling cucumbers. Down here we have 2 jalapenos. The grape tomatoes are doing real good, just loaded. And I noticed this morning that we have, for our dining pleasure this morning with our breakfast, we have a couple of tomatoes here ready to go. So I'm gonna get those off and have those for breakfast today. Got those 2 grape tomatoes, almost dropped one. All right, these 2 ox hearts are looking good. I need to get in here and do a little pruning at the bottom. Leaves are too close to the ground. Don't like that. So let's get in here and let's do a little pruning. Let's see. We're gonna cut that guy off. We're gonna cut that guy off right there. And we'll cut that guy off right there. I really don't like them this low to the ground because disease, they can get disease from the ground when water splashes up on them. So I try to keep them higher than this first rim. So that gives a lot of good ground clearance. Little weeding action here. Sorry about that. My camera work is not good sometimes. Gonna cut that one off. We're gonna give that one a cut right there. I think I grabbed my dull shears. This one's way too close to the ground. And that one's too close, and that one's too close. And that one's too close, and these little guys need to come off. And goodness, I don't think I ever pruned on this one yet. This one's got a lot of low growth. I don't usually allow to happen. All right. I'm happier with that. Yeah, we got good clearance on these guys now. Harvested all my onions, like I mentioned earlier. Want to talk about some of the projects that I did this week. I got my tomatoes irrigated, took full advantage of my vacation week to get my irrigation set up. This is a quick disconnect, so I can just pop this off of this one and move it onto this one and water these beds as they need watered. As you can see, runs through here and also runs over here into my cherry tomatoes. And then this other line will water my red celebrations and my lemon boys. And I've got the irrigation done for my cucumbers. And I was noticing today, even though I harvested my pickling cucumbers day before yesterday, I missed one. So, okay, cool. So this bed is irrigated and it ties to this bed back here. So I can water this bed and this bed on the same days. Then my bell peppers, my banana peppers, they're on the same irrigation run, so I can alternate between this one and this one and that one. Once again, it's a quick disconnect, just pop it off and put it on the bed that needs to be watered. Another thing I did this week, I was on vacation, so I got a lot of things done. We extended the garden shade over to the fence because the summer sun in the later afternoon was coming down and just beating down on my pickling cucumbers. So now I've got it so that they're protected in the late afternoon. I also did the same thing over here, ran the garden shade over to the fence because the afternoon sun was coming down and beating down hard on just Papa Color Corner. And also these two tomatoes on the end were getting a lot of later afternoon sunshine that I was afraid was going to be a little devastating on them as we move into July and August. So we put the garden shade up to give both ends on both sides some relief. And the last project I did this week, hello Miss Baby, was I built the cats a little fountain. Gives them fresh running water outside all the time so they can come here and get a drink in the cool shade. And when we're sitting here in the evening, Tiff and I can enjoy the cool shade and listen to the fountain run. Just make for a nice little setting while we're out here. One last thing I wanted to go over with you guys. Let's start down here. We had a storm blow through a few days ago and it broke one of my peppers off right there. So I'm just leaving it and I'm hoping it will, grow from there and just be a normal pepper plant, just starting a little lower. Don't know, we're gonna see. The corn is doing what corn does. This is getting exciting. When I was younger, my dad grew corn, my uncle grew corn, but I don't remember really. I remember growing corn, but I don't remember the stages of it. So this has been a learning experience, but I just love seeing the different stages of the growth. So the corn's doing good, and the black-eyed peas are doing really well too. Got lots of pea pods on these plants. They're looking good. I'm gonna let them dry on the vine or plant. I don't know if it's a pea plant or a pea vine. They do vine. I mean, they're reaching and growing, so I guess they do vine. But my goal, we're gonna see what happens. I might need to plant more peas next year for this to be accomplished. But I want to get 1 pound of peas so that for New Year's, I can cook homegrown black-eyed peas for New Year's Day. And over here on this little corn experiment, it's just a little 4x4 bed. There's about 16 stalks of corn here. If I can walk away with 5, 6, 7 ears of corn, I'm going to consider this a win. So we're going to see. All right, so that's what's happening in my garden this week. I went back and re-edited and made a couple of different videos. Got this down to a lot more concise video so you guys can see what I've done this week. As I like to say every once in a while, I'm not a master gardener. Don't claim to be. I'm just doing this for 2 reasons. I'm enjoying documenting my journey as I'm learning about gardening. Like I said, this is Garden 2.0, which means it's year 2. Last year was my first year to garden. This year is my second. And I'm just learning as I go, and I like to document that. And the other reason I do these is because my mom likes to see my garden. So that's what got me started doing these, was I made these for my mom to see my garden. So that's why I do these. Not claiming to be a master gardener, because I am not. As you can tell from my ramblings every once in a while, I don't know too much what I'm doing, but I'm trying to figure it out. So, but like I like to say, thanks for joining me this week, and I'll see you next week in my garden.